I feel like this song I've been trying to write since I learned to play guitar, writing in a way that like hopefully connects to a lot of people is I just don't think it's something you can shoot for on purpose. At least I can't. But I do tend to think if you are honest, most feelings are universal. I don't know. I've always felt lonely.
We had a couple of questions via Patreon that relate to this. One from Thea. What differences are there in your approach to writing for Paramore and for solo projects? And Kiefer also had a similar kind of question. How do you decide which ideas become Paramore songs and which ones stay as Hayley Williams solo projects? And how do you tell them apart from all the other creative musical ideas you come up with, which is a tricky business, I suspect.
Yeah, I mean, there was one song on the project that I thought was going to be a Paramore song. I don't often bring Paramore songs don't often start with me. I always kind of enjoyed top lining with Paramore. I kind of like I receive music or we're at practice and I hear something and I kind of like to enter into that space from that vantage point. But with this, we obviously started a lot of things differently. But it's a really good question because I think it's a gut feeling, and that's a hard thing to explain. This time period in my life, I think it felt really obvious that I needed to make something that was like, this is a necessity. There's like toxins in my body, and this is how I'm gonna puke them all out, and sweat it all out and be done with it. Hopefully, I don't know. Check back in a year, but. Yeah, I do though tend to think a lot about the Paramore live show because that is a thing now. I mean, that's a thing that we're known for. So there's an expectation that I believe with this project I was very happy to sort of shirk the responsibility of. And it just brings out a different side of your personality, sort of like if you're with one friend who's you really connect with on this type of thing, it's going to bring out a different side to who you are, but it's still authentic to you. I find that really it's helpful to sort of get to know those other sides because Paramore has just been it's been 99.9999% of my life for my whole life. So this is me maybe trying to like wade into some new waters.
Yeah. Really interesting. I guess there is a weight of expectation with Paramore and what it represents and how it's meant to sound and how it's meant to engage with people and communicate with people. That means, it's kind of pretty full on and in your face in some aspects.
Yeah, totally.
And this allows you to put that to one side. So it's quite freeing, isn't it, really?
Yes.
And probably will benefit both areas.
That's what I think.
Creativity.
I think that too. Most of my favorite bands, I mean, the members all have their own projects and sort of come back around. And it's like you go out and you collect these new interests and new like skills, and then you bring it back to the table and there's more to work with. I find that really interesting. And the first band that I really got into that with was the Talking Heads. I was like, I like that there's multiple projects in this universe that you can get into, and then they come back. Well, they haven't really totally come back together, but we can pray about it.
But they carry on making music in different ways. So. Yeah, it's true. This episode is being supported by Tape It, the iPhone app made specifically for musicians. If you, like many of our guests, use voice memos, then switching to Tape It is an obvious choice. And now, Tape It has layering. This means you can record over your voice notes, try out top lines, stack harmonies, build up instruments, jam with yourself, and so much more. Layering is such an exciting addition to Tape It's long list of features to help you stay creative and organized, including the ability to record straight from your lock screen, set markers, add notes, and add photos of settings. You can easily import your old voice notes, sync to the cloud, and create shared playlists with co-writers and bandmates. So, head to the link below to install Tape It and use the promo code TAPENOTES to receive a whopping 20% off Tape It Pro. And now, back to the episode. A couple more Patreon questions. One I thought was interesting from Danny, who says, how do you approach writing with a fan base so diverse in age? The openness you expressed in Glum hit really hard as someone having similar sentiments. And then somebody else asking about Glum asked, this is Benjamin Silla, I think, where did the vocal pitch in Glum come from? And is there a deeper meaning? Also, fantastic song, a gut-wrenchingly beautiful musical video.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm really proud of this song. I feel like this song I've been trying to write since I learned to play guitar, and it's always like those simple ones that I find the hardest. Writing in a way that like hopefully connects to a lot of people is I just don't think it's something you can shoot for on purpose. At least I can't. But I do tend to think if you are honest, most feelings are universal. It's just like, how is the way that you communicate it, right? So I don't know. I've always felt lonely. And it doesn't matter. I can be in a relationship. I can have the best friends in the world. And I do. I really do. But since I was very young, I just think it's this like yearning, this like longing feeling that I don't think is unique. I really think it's universal. And as I was trying to put it together originally, it was just like me and my little GS Mini. We got home, it was around the time the contract ended, and I was listening to nothing but like Pablo Honey and the Bins and Oasis, and anyone that wrote a song that you could sing by yourself with a guitar, I was like kind of just wanting to simplify. And I am so thankful that we used it. I don't think I saw this song going anywhere. It just lived in my, the parts that I had finished lived in my phone. So when you got a hold of it and we started fucking with the verse, for me, with that, you should talk about how we got there. But for me, what it stood for was everything from that inner child we talked about earlier and a dialogue with that person, and also just what it feels like to be guided by an inner voice that, or rather misguided by an inner voice that sort of is the place that holds all of your biggest insecurities, or if you're led by that, it's a lonely world. And I find myself dipping in and out of that person. Not in a like multiple personality way, but in a like, I think we all have so many parts to us, and it's just about what fader we're turning up and turning down, like I try to like talk to myself from a more, I don't know, from as wise of a place as I can. But I mean, how much perspective do you really have on your own life at the end of the day? So I don't know. I love that effect. I don't really remember how we.
I think it was like a happy accident where you had brought the song and we decided to change the key.
Oh yeah.
And in Logic they have this thing, flex mode. It just makes it easier to move pitch and time around. And for some reason it didn't work on the vocal
right
the right way. It just glitched, and we both were like, "Whoa, that's like really trippy."
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was also kind of like a running through line of for me, what I found interesting was taking Hayley's voice, which is obviously incredible and what she's known for, but just like messing with it, because you hadn't really done that much. So there's like, it was kind of sacrilegious in a way to like throw autotune on it, like pitch it up really weird, like use heavy distortion on stuff. And I think that when we stumbled onto that pretty early on in the process, it was like another like kind of key that unlocked something for like how we could use her voice in a way people hadn't heard it before.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also felt symbolic, like she was saying, for the lyrical themes and kind of this creating a character inside of the song that I think adds this weird element. And it's also too, because we were obviously I grew up on like Brit rock and like Red Enemy and Q all the time, and so like bands like Travis and Oasis, like those are obviously involved in that song. But I think I never want to just recreate an era, and I think having that vocal effect made it feel new in a way, or just put it in a different setting.
It reminds me of how, like, when I'm on TikTok and people are using sounds like of a song, but it's really sped up. It's kind of strange to imagine how many people have only heard certain songs sped up with crazy, like mouse voices on it. So in a way, it's kind of like
we got ahead of its trend.
It's like modern in this way that to me is kind of so dark, Yeah. It's like, because of this song, I think of that voice in my head as like it's named Glum, like that person that speaks from this really sad, lonely little kid vantage point is called Glum now because of this.